Erin the Hiking Stitcher. Today is November 1st, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 8, I think. I've lost count. Anyhow, today I wanted to go over what I did in October. I know it's been a while. I had some haul on October. I had some finishes. I had some new starts. And I had a lot of work on my whips. I also had a lot of cool things that I did in October, so I kind of wanted to just jump into it. First of all, as I itch my head here, a question for you guys. I'm trying to decide, do I want to update every 2 weeks or every month? It kind of felt like it was a really long time between filming in September and then filming for October. So I don't know. I'll let you guys think. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to say, do what you want, Erin, but I also want to know what you guys want. Would you rather see a couple updates a month with with the videos being shorter, or one long update to see everything that I've done in October? So let me know in the comments if you have a preference. I know I'll be filming in November because I'm gonna have 2 in November because I know I'm gonna get a box and I know I'm gonna have my normal November stuff, and then at the end of the year I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to film. I'm gonna do my first ever whip parade at the end of December, so that'll be out in January. Plus I'm gonna do kind of a 2024 year in review, kind of my finishes, some of my new starts. Yeah, so lots of cool things coming down the pike, so let me know what you guys think. But anyhow, October was a really busy month for me. I started off going to Kentucky with some friends to run Ragnar. For those of you who don't know, Ragnar is a relay race. And this one was my first ever road race as opposed to on the trail. So in this case, we had 12 people on our team divided into 2 vans. And the first runner started off at the Jim Beam Distillery in Claremont, Kentucky. And then everybody ran 3 legs total until we crossed the final finish line in Lexington, Kentucky. So that was really, really cool. Got a chance to just see a different part of the country that I hadn't seen before. And then I got a lot of fall hiking in. Didn't really get a lot of major hiking in, but it was just really nice to go up to Shenandoah and finally see the fall colors. So you're probably going to be seeing some pictures floating around here rather than my face of just some of the really great colors and views I got in the park. I did not go up on Saturdays because honestly, the line to get into Shenandoah on the weekends is insane because everybody wants to come see the colors. So I ended up going up like on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday just to see and hang out. So I didn't really do any major hiking, but I did get a lot of time up in the woods seeing the colors, which was really nice. Also, this year, my husband, as usual, worked the local air fest, the little local air show. So we got to do that and see some cool airplanes. I ran my 12th Marine Corps Marathon 10K at the end of October because my husband ran the marathon as always. So that's kind of our little end of October weekend tradition. We've been doing that together since 2011. So every year except for the COVID years, and there was 1 year that my husband's knee gave out, so I ran the 10K while he did not run the marathon. So we did that. It was a beautiful weather day for it. It was not too hot, not too cold. I power walked the whole 10K, and I felt really good at the end, and then I circled back and met my husband along the course, and I finished the last 3 miles of the marathon with him. So it's kind of become a tradition that if he runs a marathon, I meet him somewhere before the end of the race, and then we finish together because honestly, marathon training is a 2-person job sometimes. And then the last big thing I did in October was I attended the rally on the ellipse for Kamala Harris last week. This is the first year I am actually excited for a presidential candidate. I usually don't talk politics on here, and so if this is not your jam, feel free to skip ahead. But I have been really, really excited since Kamala announced that she was running. I don't agree with her on everything, but I like that she is younger. She's got more energy. She has great ideas. And I just feel like it's time for like my generation to step up, rather than being, like my dad's or my grandfather's generation. And so I was super excited to get a chance to go down to the Ellipse. We got there like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had to wait in a very, very long line even then. It took us about 2 hours to get through security and onto the inside the actual grounds. And even so there was probably about 20,000 inside the actual security perimeter. And then they had so many more who couldn't get in that they just flowed past the Washington Monument. I heard rumors it was down to the Lincoln Memorial. And it was just a really, really great atmosphere. Lots of joy, a lot of excitement, no negativity. No, we did not get paid to be there. I know that's what I've heard some Republicans say. And no, it was not an AI crowd. I saw it with my own eyes. It was huge. And it was just a lot of excitement and fun. So that was something I'd never had the chance to do before. And in a way, no matter what happens on Tuesday, it felt great to be kind of a part of history. So with that being said, make sure you have a plan to vote. If you have not voted already, please. You don't have to vote the same way I'm going to vote, but please vote. Make your voice heard. All right. That's my little PSA. So that's what happened in October outside of stitching. So stitching wise, let me go over my haul. I had 3 major pieces of haul this month. So the first piece that I had was a piece called New Orleans from Unconventional Cross Stitch. Now, for those of you who don't know this designer, she is based out of Australia, and closer to the beginning of the month, she lost everything in a fire. Her home, her business, everything. So the cross-stitch communities kind of banded around her and said, well, digital patterns are still there and we still want to support you. So I went on to their website and found this really cute piece called New Orleans. And, well, I've got the family in New Orleans. Excuse me. So that is, that piece really spoke to me. So I'm looking forward to getting that started at some point. So that was the first thing I got. Second thing I got from Artie the Vintage Stitchers group on Facebook. If you're not part of her group, she kind of finds estate sales, needlework cross-stitch shops that have closed, and she kind of takes the overstock and eventually sells it. So this month, Artie put out a lot of Halloween patterns. And so I picked up Halloween Tiny Town from Heart and Hand. So I started collecting these. This is like my third piece, and eventually I'd like to get all of them to be able to stitch and then swap out at any point during the season. So like this would be up for Halloween, and then the Christmas one, the Thanksgiving one. So this was cute. Looking forward to adding this to my possible rotation of when I'm going to start it. And then the last major piece of haul I got was the Christmas snail from Black Needle Society. This was a snail that was put out 2 years ago, and I have been wanting to stitch all of the snails that BNS has put out. So as I'm starting to plan for my 12 days of Christmas stitching, I realized I wanted to get the Christmas snail. So it is a digital pattern, so here's what it's going to look like when it's done. You can go on to the Black Needle Society's website and look in their vault and order the pattern as well if you want it. So those are the 3 major pieces I got for my haul. Not a lot, but that's okay. I said I'm trying to stitch what I have, and you know how sometimes that can go. Sometimes it's better than nothing. November, I'm going to try not to do any of that, although it's November 1st and I've already broken that promise with the 2025 hate sale. But I'll talk about that next month. Anyhow, so let's see. So I pulled together all of my WIP. So I worked on 16 projects in October. Actually pulled down my notes. So that included, I believe, 4 new starts, and 3 finishes. One of those starts and finishes was the same project. So I felt really, really proud of myself. So I'm actually going to show you guys my whips for October in the order that I stitched, the fewest stitches to the most stitches. I saw this idea on Jessie Marie Does Stuff's recent Flosstube of how she showed her stuff, and I said, that's kind of a neat way to do it rather than a random. So I'm going to really go in order of the whips I had with the fewest stitches all the way to the most stitches. And then I'll go over what my official stitch count for October was. So the first thing I had, this is Cinderella from Thomas Kincaid. This was a piece that I bought in 2014, 2015. I've been working on this since about 2016. And this is where I'm at right now compared to where I was at the beginning of the month. So this got a whole 98 stitches in because this is my new rainy day project. And we had rain exactly 1 day in October. So I got 1 day of stitching in on this. And that was like way back at the beginning of the month. We're talking like first or second week. So on this one, I pulled up some of the greenery. And so I'm just trying to work in rows because this was my first ever full coverage start that I started back in 2014. And to be quite honest, I had no idea what I was doing at the time. So now now that I know a little bit more, I'm rather than just kind of going helter skelter, I'm just trying to go pull it all up to the same row. I don't have that much left, about maybe a 25% left. Plus there's a lot of back stitching and stuff. So hopefully next month we have a little bit more rain so the prince can get his head. So this is Cinderella from Thomas Kincaid. So 98 stitches, not a whole lot. I feel sad. So there's that one. And then the next project I worked on, I worked a little bit more on Frogwarts Year 1. At the end of last month, I had just started the spell of Wingardium Leviosa, just pulled it up. This month, I only worked on it like 1 day because it was pulled for the Countdown to Year 6 stitch along. And I got 205 stitches in on it. So I have now gotten more of the spell done. So right now you got like Winga, Levio, and then Hedwig is still there. Hedwig's hanging out. So 1 day of stitching, not too bad. Next month, when this gets pulled, I'm hoping to finish the spell and start a few more of the motifs. So just slowly working on it. There you go. See, there it is. So this is designed from Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society, and I am doing this all on one. So this is where I'm at with all of them so far. Year 3 is done thanks to Rachel Ray, and then year 2 is about halfway done thanks to Rachel, and so year 1 at the top and year 4, that's all me so far. So we're slowly going to work on that. So my goal is to get a little bit more done on them next month because this is one of my projects that I kind of keep in my bucket for when the Countdown to Year 6 stitch along pulls something that calls for something that I know is on a Frogwarts pattern. So there is no timetable to get this done. It's just nice to work on. So this, once again, there's where I got. In October, a whopping 205 stitches. 1 day's worth of stitching, not a big deal. But maybe next month there'll be more. Put that down for a side. All right, now we're getting into some of the other stuff. So the next piece that I had 533 stitches in on this. And that's not bad considering I started 2 days ago. So this is August from the Black Needle Society. See if I can... I don't like this seeing through, so let's kind of do it like this. So this is the August update for their Celebrate All Year Stitch Along. August is National Peach Month. So I started this on the 30th, And I have been working a little bit on this, and I got 533 stitches in so far. So this is going to be another easy, quick finish, so then I can move on to September. So this should be a November finish. Hopefully September will be too. But yeah, these are quick and easy to stitch once you get going on it. So I'm only now about 2 months behind. So if I'm starting August and I started at the end of so I still have August, November, October, and September to do, and November's should be released today. So I'm gonna have to do some major stitching because my hope is to finish all of them, including December, by the end of the year, so I can get them all finished off and displayed for next year. So this, there is no starting photo for this because the starting photo was literally a blank canvas. So this is August, National Peach Month. Let's see. And then I got to touch one of my favorite pieces, and I'm hoping to get this one finished. Those of you who watched my September update, you know that I went on a bucket list trip to London. And so I got to start Pretty Little London at that time from Satsuma Street. So by the end of November, or what month was it? September. I came home from vacation and I didn't work on it again. So here is where I was at the end of September. And then in October, one of the prompts for Fandom stitching was to stitch 700 stitches on something with boats. Well, this has boats on it. So in October, I spent, I think, 2 days stitching on this, maybe 3. And I put 737 stitches in. So now I'm down to the bottom. You can see I've got the little taxis in. I've got the guards in the guardhouse in. I have the sails for the boats in. So this one I'm kind of working down like color completing. So next month I will color complete another color and get the buses done. This one I have less than 2,000 stitches left on this. So this is going to become one of my WIPdown projects. So WIPdown, a bunch of us are doing as, hey, you got a project that has 2,000 stitches or less on it, just try to finish it off. So some friends and I, we started WIPdown Wednesdays. So the idea is that on Wednesdays, you pick a project from your WIPdown list and you just work towards a finish. Whether you finish it, whether you're not, but those are your priority stitches on Wednesday. So this will join my WIPdown Wednesday list for November in the hopes that I get this done. So I just have to finish the bottom. I've just got to finish the boats. I've got to put London Bridge in at the bottom and then put in the clouds and the rain because it's London and it gets cloudy and it gets rainy a lot. So there's that. And every time I stitch on this, it brings back great memories of my trip because I got to stitch on this every day. I was on vacation in England and then on the Queen Mary too. So there is Pretty Little London. All right, next piece is part of the Zero to Hero stitch along from the Fandom Stitching Central. My brain is like trying to remember everything. So this is the villains piece. So a designer on Etsy called L Cross Stitch, I believe, did 2 versions of this, the heroes and the villains. I have both of them. So I have been working and trying to get 1 motif a week done and alternate between villains and heroes. Well, I was able to get caught up quite a bit on both pieces this month because they have been called quite a bit for the Great British Bake Off Stitching Challenge that Jessie Marie Does Stuff has been started. So the villains piece this week actually has been my daily 100 piece plus 450. So I haven't even gotten all that in yet. But let me tell you something. I finally figured out the background. So here's where I was at the end of September, beginning of October. I believe I had just finished Jafar. But I was still trying to figure out what color I wanted to stitch all the motifs in. So I finally figured that out. So here is where I'm at right now. So as far as characters go, I got this little guy in. That's the only character that I finished this month. However, my daily 100, I finally decided I'm using A12 550 for all the background stuff. Because originally it was charted in 335, which is the same color as like her hair. But trying to get all those little motifs, you really can't quite see it. So I decided to change it up and use 550 A12. And so as you can see over here, I've got not quite halfway done, but that's my daily 100. So I just put 100 stitches in on those little motifs every day this week. And I only have 4 more characters to go. So it's going to finish off right down there at the bottom. So I am well on track to have this done by the end of the year, which was my goal. So I should get 2 more characters. Actually, I should get 1 more character in this week. So that's my job for today or tomorrow, is to get 1 more character in, because I haven't done the character for the week yet. And a little bit more of the background. And so that just leaves me 3 more characters to do over the course of 7 weeks. So this is going to be a finish in December. If it's a finish in November, I will be super surprised. But I'm really, really liking how the colors are showing up on screen. When you're looking up close at it, you're like, I don't know, did I pick the right color? Because I think I must have gone through like 3 or 4 different choices for the background color before I settled on 550. But now that I see it like this, I really like it. So this is the Disney Villains piece. And that got, that got 834 stitches in October. Probably should tell you guys stitch count. I think I told you guys London, yeah, Pretty Little London, I did 737. All right, so then moving up, so as I keep going, these are the projects that got more and more work done on it. So the next piece I worked on is the Hogwarts crest, and you guys saw that in last month's video because it was also a focus piece for September. So at the end of September, I was here. I had pretty much had gotten some of the bottom band done, and I was hoping to finish the rest of that. However, in October, a lot of the prompts ended up being like stitch in red, stitch in red, stitch in red. Well, I color completed all the reds in this piece. So here is where I'm at now. So I finished the Gryffindor background. So you can see that. I filled in the red in the H, and I filled in the red kind of up here. So big, up like over here. So I have color completed all of the reds that are in this pattern. So throughout the month, I put in 915 stitches in on this. And so this is going to go away. This is done for the year. So this will be back next year as part of my one of my 3 planned WIPgo boards. But this one, I was originally had planned on like, let me just fill in all the yellow and then I'll fill in the colors. But actually filling in the red makes me like, okay, I feel like I've done a little bit more on it. So I don't quite know where I'm going to work on this next. Just maybe depends on what prompts are called for when this becomes my monthly focus. But I'm super excited. So this is a free pattern from Little Mojo, I think. If you Google Hogwarts crest pattern Little Mojo, you might find it someplace. But this was a free pattern. I think I started this back in 2018. And I'm doing this on 14 count. If I could go back and yell at myself in 2018, I might have done this on a smaller count, because as you can tell, this is not small. This is on, I believe, this is on 24, it's 24 inches tall. These are 24-inch stretcher bars tall and about 20 or so wide. So this is not a small piece, but I still love it. So this is the Hogwarts crest, 915 stitches in for October. Woot woot. And then let's see. Now I'm getting up into the projects where I really kind of went to town on. Those other projects, it was like 1 or 2 days of stitching because they got called. But now I'm getting into the projects where they got called multiple times for different challenges that I do. So this next one is a new start. So this is the Magic School Bus Stitch Along from the Black Needle Society. Last month I showed you guys the fabric because I finally got the fabric for it. So a little bit of background on this pattern here. Laura from the Black Needle Society works at a Title I school in the Kansas City area. And what that means is that they get a lot of federal funding because the student and neighborhood demographics mean that the parents and the kids, like there's just not a lot of resources there to be provided from the outside. So a lot of these kids are completely free and reduced lunch, very high minority, high English language learner population. And so last year they started, the Black Needle Society said, well, you know what, let's try something. So they asked all the teachers at the school to put together like their Amazon wish list. It was like, don't, go like whatever you want. So everything from pens and pencils to, man, I could use a lamp in my classroom, or my kids need clothes, my kids need deodorant, like whatever. The teachers just created their wish list, and then they sent the wish list to the Black Needle Society. And what Katie and Laura did was design a pattern that was released as a stitch along in parts. And the only way you could access this pattern was if you purchased at least like $20 or $25 worth of items off of the wish list. Well, the response was huge last year. So last year, the theme of the pattern was Schoolhouse Rock, and I'm still working on that one. This year, they did the same thing for the Magic School Bus. So I got my fabric the day I left for Europe, which was the day the stitch along started. So I didn't really get a chance to stitch. And so finally in October, I had a chance to start it. So I was able to complete part 1 of the stitch along, 1,035 stitches. So I started this on October 9th. So this is what part 1 looks like. It just says, take chances, make mistakes, get messy. And I'm loving how this looks on this fabric. This is a Be Stitch Me fabric, Night Sky, I think it is. So you'll see here what the full project will look like when it's complete. The saddle is now complete, so I now know what it's going to look like. I'm still going to try to work each piece. So this right here was just part 1. So this was literally should have been like 1 week's worth of stitching, and I got it done in 1 month. But that's okay. So, I mean, because the big thing is that to get this pattern, the money goes towards the school. And you actually, I think you still can get in on this. It's not a stitch along at this point. But I need to look and see like how you could still get this. Again, the idea is that in order for you to get this pattern, you have to make a donation or purchase supplies off the wish list for the school. And so that way the teachers and the kids have what they need to be successful. So that is the Magic School Bus Stitch Along. Yay! And then another piece I'm super proud to work on, it's called Home in New Orleans. And this is a piece that I got I've had for a while. I think I bought it in like 2016, 2017. It came from the Accents store in Kenner, Louisiana, which is not too far from where my mother-in-law lived. So every time I go visit her, I would pretty much raid the LNS because they have very New Orleans, Louisiana specific patterns. So I started this pattern in 2018, and it's kind of become a struggle bus. So this got called, and I really put in a concerted effort. So at the beginning of the month, here's where I was. Now, stitching the words were easy, but now I'm getting into borders. God, I hate borders. I hate borders almost as much as I hate alphabets. So this one was like, try to do a little bit at a time. But I persevered, and this is where I'm at. So I was able to bring up the bottom border on both sides all the way to halfway. And I started up here, getting the rest of it up to go around. So each of these little fleur-de-lis is 115 stitches. So, yay, Flosstube says thumbs up. So I am hoping then that when this gets called for WIPgo, my goal for this one on WIPgo is to try to do 100 stitches a day which means a fleur-de-lis a day. And then hopefully get this knocked out next year. So hopefully that this is a finish next year. Also, if you can't tell, this is also on 14 count. And this is like, hey, Erin doesn't know how to measure because I don't know. Do you guys notice the problem? Yeah, that's right. It's a little off center, isn't it? Now I still have plenty of room. I mean, when like here, I've still got 2 inches. When I first discovered the Erin, I don't think there's, no, the top and bottom are the same. When I first discovered this off-centeredness, I was like, after I'd put in all the words. So I kind of put this in the whip of shame pile for a while. Like I didn't want to touch it. But now it's like, I just want to get it finished because my mother-in-law has done the first piece in the series. This is the second piece in the series. And then I bought the third piece in the series and I'd like to get that one started. So this is home in New Orleans. And I don't remember who designed it. So anyhow, so this one got, what did I do? 1,154 stitches, which is the most I think I've ever put in this in 1 month ever. In previous months, like I was lucky to get like 1 or 2 of these done. But just trying to bring the border up and around, just suck it up and get it done. So this will come back sometime next year. Put that aside. That was in my stretcher bar era, which is not a bad era to be in, but for some of those big pieces, it's kind of a pain. So I've moved over to Q-snaps and hoops. All right, so the next one I got is I finally started the Haunted Library from Lola Crow. Yay! I knew I wanted to start this in October because it's Halloween and things like that. So I had a chance to start that. So I started that, well, actually I started it twice. So let me tell you. Originally, I started it on what I thought was 20 count, ended up being 22 count. I'm not really sure. I didn't particularly care for the coverage. I mean, so I cut the fabric. I'm like, okay, I can make it small, but I don't know if you can see, I'm moving that. I mean, I love the coverage, but it just seemed too small, too tight, and too wide. I'm like, it just wasn't speaking to me. So that's as far as I got before I said, screw it, I'm going to try it again. So I dug through my stash and I found a piece of 18 count mellow stone from Atomic Ranch Fabrics. And just the better count and the better color. And I have gone to town on this. So I started it again on October 20th. And I put in 1,348 stitches in October. So here is where I'm at on the Haunted Library. Forgive the parked threads. That's where I finished off yesterday because, of course, I stitched on it for Halloween. So just working this, again, it was a former stitch along. And even though I have the whole pattern, I'm still trying to do it in the order the stitch along was released. So the first release was the staircase. So this is really the staircase, just trying to get the staircase in. Once I changed the fabric count, this flew. So when I'm stitching this goes pretty quickly. So I think I only stitched like 3 days this month, including yesterday for Halloween. So I'm looking forward to when this comes up on my WIPgo board for newer starts next year, which means I'm going to go for another at least 1,000 stitches a month on it. And then this will be my dedicated Halloween piece. So anytime something calls for Halloween or a ghost or anything, so you can guarantee next October, this is going to get a lot of work done. So this is the Haunted Library from Lola Crow. So now I can rip out the old one and use that fabric for something else because this works. So there's that one. And then we're coming to my first finish of the month. Yay! So this is one of the Outlander series from Forbidden Fiber Cross Stitch. I discovered it this year. This is the third in a 3-part series. And before you even ask, yes, I did go back and buy the other 2 kits. But I bought this and I started this at Steel City Stitchers 2024. So I started it in April. And I had put it away, and then it was called for WIPgo this month. And so between that and the Great British Bake Off, I was able to put in 1,385 stitches for a finish on October 24th. So here is the finish. And this is all the called for. So this was kitted. This was sent to me as a kit with the floss and the fabric and a cute little project bag from Forbidden Fiber Co. So my only regret on this is that I didn't measure because I just kind of started. And so you can see I could have easily moved this up to be able to use a lot more fabric for something else, but it still looks great. And so this makes me happy. So this one I started in, started in April this year as part of a new start at the retreat, and it's done. So this is one of my first ever. This year has been a big year of starts and finishes in the same year, which is not like me normally, but it feels good. So this is I'm gonna try to frame this myself with a little black frame, and this will go on my bookshelf, and then next year maybe I'll start the other two, because this really, really was a quick stitch. Like, I was actually surprised at how quick this was. Itchy nose. So yay for a finish for my Outlander piece. And then the next piece that I worked on, itchy nose, was my Saints gnome. So as you guys know from the last video, I found this piece, and I'm completely blanking out on who stitches it. Nene Cross Stitch, N-E-N-I. If you look for her on Etsy and look for like football gnomes, so I'd seen the Green Bay Packers version when my friend Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, wanted to do this gnome as essentially the Packer backer Sal. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not a Packer backer. I am a Whodat, Saints through and through. So I went on and I found the Saints gnome. And I said, you know what? The only time I'm going to stitch on is when I'm watching a Saints game. So yeah, the Saints, it's not been a pretty season so far. I missed the first 2 games because I was out of the country, and that's when the only 2 games the Saints won. So I think I need to leave the country again if I want the Saints to win again. But, so I worked on this 3-4 times in October, and I was able to, so here's where I was at the beginning of October. I had just finished his little thumb. So now I am here. So that's where he is. You can see all the Q snaps, or the nerd hoops marks. This is stitched on a 16 count white. So I've got his beard done, I've got one arm done, and I'm got half the football done because I ran out of that color. And you guys tell me if you can tell where I switched threads in the football, because it's all the same color, like the same number, but I am positive that it's not quite the same dialogue. My husband says he can't see it. I can still see it. So you guys let me know if you can see a major difference in the football, because that may be something that gets ripped out at some point. But the Saints gnome got 1,538 stitches in on it. Not bad over only like 3 or 4 games watching, because this does go fast when I'm stitching on it. So I'll stitch on this again this Sunday, and the goal is to have this done by the time the Saint season is over, which sounds like it's going to be sooner rather than later. But again, Nene Cross Stitch. So she has sports gnomes for all the major sports teams. So while this isn't the Packer backer Sal, sorry Nancy, this is still my Whodat gnome. So that was my other stitch in October. And now we're getting into a couple more finishes. Yay! So I finally, working on that Celebrate All Year stitch along from the Black Needle Society. The last piece I had on the dark fabric, which I really didn't care for, was June, National Camping Month. So I had started that at the end of September. So here's where I was at the end of September. And in October, I put in 1,593 stitches to finish on October 7th. So yeah, I kind of knocked this out that first week because that was the week we drove to Kentucky. So this was my travel piece. So I worked on this pretty much exclusively the entire first week of October. And so here's my finish. Kind of, adjust it so you don't. So there's National Camping Month. Don't want that. So this was the last piece that was on that dark fabric, and that makes me very happy. This is probably my favorite one so far, just because this is very much me. You got the backpack, you got the campfire, you got the frog and the snake, you got all the good stuff, going out and see the stars. So another quick finish, which again is awesome. So there's that one. And then the next piece I work on, I told you about the heroes piece. So the villains piece. So here's the heroes piece from the same designer, L Cross Stitch. And this one was called, it seemed like for every single thing for the Great British Bake Off the first week. So I got 1,928 stitches in October on this. So this one, again, I figured out, so here's where I was at the end of September. And now here's where I am now. So the biggest thing I've done here is, as you can tell, I figured out a color for the background motifs on this one too. So this one is a toile, I think it's 603. Whatever, it's pinky toile, and I love it because it just works so well, and it makes me, and I can tell that the little motifs just aren't random, which is neat. So like here, you got Cinderella here, and then you've got her little slipper. You have the Lion King here, and then you have the little Lion King symbol. You have Aladdin over here, and then you have the lamp. Like, I did not notice that when I was trying to stitch on white. So then as far as the motifs go, I got these two done, so I'm working up. So I just need to finish the motifs in the ears. So I think I've got about 5 or 6 more motifs on this one to finish. But I'm almost done with all the backgrounds. So this one, again, will be a finish in December. Trying to do a motif a week or just every other week. But with the contestant that this is assigned to on the Great British Bake Off Stitching Challenge, that contestant is doing amazing. So I get the feeling this could be done sooner if they keep on rocking it out and getting the Star Baker and the handshakes and the technicals and all that stuff. So this one had 1,928 stitches in for the month. So, yay! Not going to start figuring out what I want to do with them when I finish them. So then, my last finish for the month, you saw June, you saw I'd started August, so you're like, what happened to July? Well, I started and finished July. So here is July from that same Celebrate All Year sale. This is National Hot Dog Month. And this one, I think I stitched on, it took me 3 days to do this. Not very long at all. With these, I started, like I sort the colors by bow stitches to least stitches, and I just kind of work my way down. So I kind of color complete as I can, and that just seems to knock it out much faster. So you got all the hot dogs. So you see that you got chili dogs, and you've got onion dogs, and you've got ketchup, you got mustard. Makes me very hungry looking at it. So this was a start in July and a finish in July, which is a rarity for me. And this was 1,981 stitches total on that. So yeah, I started that on October 10th and I finished it on the 24th, so 2 weeks. And I didn't stitch on it every day. But yay, so that one's done. 2 more to show you. Because you know what? The full coverage Hades, as always, get the most work every month. So my 2 full coverages for this month were Traveler's Window and Old World Map. So I'll start with Traveler's Window. So this is what the whole thing will look like when it's done. This is by Lars Stewart and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I started this in May on the day that I kind of quote unquote retired. My husband picked out which one he wanted to start because we hope to take a lot of train travel. So here's where I was at the end of September. And it's still in the nerd troop. Caught it. Oh, that wouldn't have been good. So much for me trying to have a background. Sorry. So, here's where it was at the end of September. And here's where I'm at now. So this one I am working just a page at a time. So I've worked over to the page. So this is the upper left-hand corner. So this is the trunk. And then this is the jacket that's being flung over the seat. So this got 3,874 stitches in for the month. And this will be another piece that I'm working on in November. So my goal for November is to go down and finish the page, which is going to be about here. So I should have a page finished at the end of November to show you on this. So that's Traveler's Window. And the last piece I worked on is Old World Map from Art of the Antiquities. So this was the second hate I started back in sometime in 2019. And it's the smallest hate I have. And so here is what it will look like when it's finished. Here's what it looked like at the beginning of October. And here is what it looks like now. So my focus for October really was over here. So what I did was I brought down the border to the halfway point. So this side is now from here down is halfway. And then I decided I wanted to start on the actual map. So I got the map started. I got the little border around the map, the different colors. You got like the green and the yellow and the pink. And then I started on the actual map. So just doing that one a row at a time pretty much, because I learned up here I tried to just color complete this section, the small one, and it became a pain in the butt. A lot of just ninja stitches, a lot of trying to cram 2 or 3 stitches surrounded by like 5. So this one I'm now coming down and I'm doing a row at a time. So this made me very happy to get to this point on it. So now I'm actually starting the map part of the Old World Map. And that was 4,244 stitches for the month. So the way I've done my Heaven and Earth was, so every evening I'm just every other night. So one night I work on one, the next night I work on the other. And so that's, I can sit down in the evenings and get 200-300 in easily, just mindless while watching TV. So those were all my whips for October. So in October total, I had a total of 23,402 stitches, which I think is a record or close to it for me. I kind of went to town. I didn't really have a lot of traveling except at the beginning of the month. And so every day I was able to put in at least 100 stitches. Many days I had over 1,000 stitches, which is nice. So then you ask, so what's coming up in November for you, Erin? Well, don't want to give everything away, but in November I'm going to continue the Great British Bake Off Stitching Challenge. So for more information on that, go to, I believe, Jessie Marie Does Stuff's Facebook page. And so she has a video about how all that works, so you can easily hop in and do that. My focus pieces for the month, they are my WIPgo picks. So the first one is Traveler's Window, which you just saw. So I'm going to continue working on that with the goal of finishing the page. And then my other Heaven and Earth design, that'll be my focus for the month, is Vintage Baker by Amy Stewart. So this is what it's going to look like, but I'll show you like everything else next month. And then I'm also doing Camper Sampler from Silver Creek Designs. I'm working on Summer Music from Elsa Williams. That's a retired piece. It's probably one of my older whips that I think I started in 2015. And I'm working on Summer in the Village from Stony Creek. So, and also I'm going to continue working on the Celebrate All Year sale, so hopefully get August and September done. Don't really have any planned new starts. I'm going to just keep working on the heroes and the villains pieces. Now, if there's something that jumps out that I just have to start, we'll see. But right now, there's nothing that I'm planning on for a new start. Just planning on working through those, using the prompts from Fandom Stitching Central to help guide what I stitch on each week, along with the Great British Bake Show. So then with that, yeah, October is a busy, busy month. So please don't forget, in the comments, please tell me if you would rather see an update video every 2 weeks. So it'd be shorter, but more frequent updates. Or just keep on the once a month, or, if you have an opinion. I'm still trying to decide how I want to work November. But also please go find me on Instagram, Walking in Stitches, because you'll see updates much more frequently there. And if you like what you see, go ahead, like the video, comment, subscribe, share, please. Get my channel out into the Flosstube algorithm world. So with that, I think that's all for today. So have a wonderful stitchy November, and always remember, stitch your own stitch. Have a great month.